In World War II, American soldiers did something impossible. They lifted a tank with just one hand. No super strength, no secret technology, just a weapon so strange, so ridiculous, that even the Nazis couldn't believe it was real. But this bizarre trick helped win battles and saved thousands of lives. Here's the incredible part. This wasn't your typical army. They weren't just heavily armed soldiers charging into battle. This was the Ghost Army, officially called the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, a unit made up of a mix of artists, designers, performers, and regular soldiers. The artists, painters, sculptors, set designers, and even some musicians were recruited for their creativity. Their job? To trick the enemy into thinking the Allies had huge armies, when in fact there were only a few thousand soldiers. It sounds crazy, but their mission was deadly serious. By using illusion instead of brute force, they saved countless lives and helped the Allies win key battles. So how did they do it? Their weapons weren't guns or tanks. They were art, sound, and deception. They built inflatable tanks and artillery, which from a distance looked just like the real thing. Some were so realistic that German pilots reported seeing entire divisions of American armor. They used recordings of marching soldiers, trucks, and tanks, broadcast through giant speakers to simulate troop movements. The enemy would hear what sounded like thousands of men preparing to attack. They set up dummy camps, fake supply depots, and even fake airfields, tricking the Nazis into thinking soldiers were positioned where there were actually none. The combination of visual tricks, sound illusions, and careful planning allowed them to create an entire fake army. And while the artists brought creativity, the trained soldiers handled logistics, safety, and operational accuracy. It was truly a team effort. One of their most famous missions took place just before the Battle of the Bulge. The Ghost Army set up a fake division miles from the real front lines. Inflatable tanks, painted tents, and recorded sounds made the Germans believe a large American force was nearby. The result? The Nazis diverted troops and resources to areas where there were actually no soldiers. This gave the real Allied troops a critical advantage and likely saved thousands of lives. In another mission in France, the Ghost Army staged a complete fake assault, including moving vehicles and mock artillery fire. German reconnaissance planes photographed the decoys and reported them as genuine, leading to major strategic errors. Many members of the Ghost Army never expected to fight a real war. Broadway dancers, painters, sculptors, and musicians all found themselves in the middle of battle zones, using their creative skills in life or death situations. They worked under enemy fire, sometimes just a few miles from real combat, while setting up illusions that could fool entire divisions. Their talent for visual design, sound engineering, and performance became literally a weapon of war. By the end of World War II, the Ghost Army had participated in over 20 major operations. They created phantom units, fake convoys, and decoy artillery that caused confusion among German forces and directly contributed to Allied victories. What makes their story remarkable is that they achieved all this without firing a single real shot. Their creativity, imagination, and ability to perform under pressure proved that brains and artistry could be more powerful than brute force. After the war, many of these artists returned to civilian life, continuing their creative careers, but their contribution remained hidden for decades. The unit's missions were classified until the 1990s. Today, the Ghost Army is remembered as one of the most inventive and unusual units in military history. So next time you think of World War II soldiers, Don't just picture guns and tanks. Think of artists, musicians, and performers who turned their imagination into a weapon and showed the world that creativity can be mightier than steel.